Oh, by the way,
know.
let me jump back. When Jeter retired, for example, you know what should have happened? His last game in Fenway,
Yeah.
right? They should have the crowd should have gave him a standing O. Had him come back out of the dugout, have him tip his cat. Maybe just that. If anything, maybe have, I don't know, David Ortiz go up and shake his hand.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't even say not even Pedroia. Ortiz was there when we were really fighting the Yankees, And that's that. I say just a tip of the cap, to be honest, have done it. That would have been, imagine a photo of Jeter in Fenway Park, tipping his cap to the state. That would have been you put that in the analogs of baseball, great photos, that would be way better.
Hey, I unmuted the microphone. That would help. Right. So now people should be able to hear us. Anyway, continue.
So that would be way better than a pair of cowboy boots, in my opinion.
No, I would agree. Yeah.
And so I don't know what Ortiz. I don't know. Was Ortiz looking like, hey, I want cowboy boots too? And he's like, so he wanted to announce it. And why retire, dude? You're a DH. You had good numbers last year.
Well, I think he knows the writing's on the wall. At some point, he's not going to be able to hit.
Yeah, but you know what? I would say go through the season, and then if you're having a bad season, you say, I think I'm going to hang it up at the end of this.
All right. Do you think, though, the Red Sox went to him and said, hey, you know what? We're not going to sign you again.
That's the other thing. Who cares? Well,
we're not going to sign you again.
If he produces, who cares?
Does his value... He's going to get the most money playing here, right?
And doesn't he have an option? If he makes enough plate appearances, he has the contract that kicks in. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I just think the Red Sox said, we want you to retire because
we have
Hanley Ramirez and he has nowhere to play. The only where he can play is DH.
Yeah.
So why don't you retire? We can put him at DH. You go into our front office, you get a cushy job as a PR guy or whatever it is. You're still going to get all your free meals and free drinks all around Boston because you're the greatest clutch hitter ever in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
And you can go down out on top, essentially.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing, too, is I hate seeing guys go out like Peyton Manning,
I would agree, yeah. Do you think he's even going to play it this year? The rest of any games this year?
I think they said Brock Osweill is their starter.
I think it's
too late to cut him. Or
well, yeah,
pick him. I mean, he will play again. He said he's going to play next year. I think he's realized I'm not going to play for the Broncos unless he pulls a Tanya Harding and have somebody breaks all.
I almost hope that happens.
Oh yeah,
Peyton,
it would be great for us.
Peyton, don't play again.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you talking about Peyton or Brock?
No. I want Peyton to play. I don't want the Broncos to win.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying, Peyton, don't play. You know, obviously something's wrong. You don't have it. You certainly don't have your fastball anymore. You don't have 80% of your fastball anymore. It's just not there.
You can't feel your fingers.
Right. And your neck is being held together with
elastics and super glue. It's at this point. It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
But that's a classic example. What's Kobe going to do?
Kobe's going to do something.
Kobe, Peyton are going to hang out together and just try to find pickup games. It's I can't see how people that competitive walk away.
But Kobe's terrible now. He's just like Peyton.
Yeah.
Kobe is bad.
Yeah. He's having one of the worst shooting seasons in NBA history.
And he goes out there and he's like, I'm Kobe. I can still score 30. And he's like, no, you can't score 10.
after 75 shots, he gets 30
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I don't know.
Honestly, Kobe, if you're listening, man, I love you. You're the greatest basketball player I've ever seen, and I grew up watching Bird and Jordan. I think he's better than both. Not above and beyond better. I think if the game was if somebody had to take over a game, I think Kobe he's the Black Mamba, baby.
Okay. Kobe's obviously a great player.
Would you say top 3?
No. Wow. I don't think I would say top 3.
Top 5.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Jordan is the best. Pound for pound, Jordan was the best basketball player ever. And I would love to say it was Bird, but obviously if Bird had played another 5 seasons at peak level, that maybe he might have been in that conversation, just because he was so good at what he did, and then his back just completely gave out and he couldn't do anything. Partly because he played, 47.5 minutes a night for 3 years in a row. Casey Jones just completely killed him doing that. And then obviously if Len Bias hadn't died, he would have come in and given everybody a spell as well.
There's always the what ifs, but Kobe
certainly is. Okay, so I think Jordan's better than Kobe. You could say some of the centers were a better pound for pound player.
See, the big men are weird. It's weird because big men are their own thing. If I was 8 feet tall, okay, and if I just had the athleticism I had, not Kobe Bryant athleticism, just the athleticism I had in my early 20s, and I was 7'5", I would be like one of the greatest big men of all time.
Right.
It's because most guys, when they get that big, they get like big and clumsy, but it's just I've just moves. I think Kobe was a killer, an absolute killer. Ice water in his veins. I mean, you
don't think Jordan had that?
Jordan had it. Bird had it too. There was something about Kobe. He had that je ne sais quoi, as the French would say. I just loved Kobe. I loved Kobe. I loved watching him play. Not against the Celtics. At least not against the Celtics when we had a chance. But I loved Kobe. And I think that's why you don't like Kobe, is because
I didn't like watching him play. Like, I could appreciate him playing. Like, when I'd go to the few games I went to, that it was Lakers Celtics and he was playing, obviously I could appreciate that he was a dominant player. But I think part of it for me is that he wanted to take over every game, and it was him, and then maybe there were 4 other guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was it. And I guess that's just against my personality as well, is where Bird knew if he needed to take over a game, he would. But he would go, oh, wow, there's somebody else I can pass it to.
I would
take a good shot.
I'm going to give you this argument. I would argue that Kobe Bryant was the most physically gifted basketball player I've ever seen. Jordan's very, very close.
Yeah.
Dr. J is very close, too. Don't get me wrong. From the stuff I've seen from him. Bird probably had the greatest court vision I've ever seen anybody have. I think anybody will ever have. But I think talent, like pure skill-wise, I think Kobe had more skill than anybody else I've ever seen.
I guess I just can't the personal.
You see, you just don't like him.
No, that's what I can't let that get past me. Like, I would still say Jordan's better than Kobe.
Like, I would look like you probably aren't familiar with him. Pavel Datsyuk on the Red Wings.
I know who he is. Yes.
Better than Gretzky.
See, I'm not educated enough to say that, but I would find that hard to believe. When we're done, look at a Gretzky highlight reel and then look at a Pavel Datsyuk. And granted, Gretzky played. Guys like Pavel Datsyuk wouldn't exist without guys like Gretzky. And Gretzky played in a time when people will murder you. It's like you score a goal. But didn't he play also in a time where there was more talent on the fewer teams, Gretzky? So, and he was dominating that better talent?
I could see that. But if you just... The things that Pavel Datsyuk can do, Gretzky could not.
Would you say a hockey historian that is well-versed in all things hockey would agree with you? Or,
no, because they would say Bobby Orr is.
Well, I would hear a lot of Bobby Orr talk, yeah.
I do think Bobby Orr was better than Wayne Gretzky. And we didn't have ESPN and certainly not the LA market to show that. But in Bobby Orr, and I said, granted, with Pavel Datsyuk and Gretzky, I believe it was only a 5-minute major for stabbing somebody during Bobby Orr's time.
No, yeah.
So when Bobby Orr played, like, guys' knees were. I mean, people now like, oh, ACL, FTL. Like, no, you're still playing. You'll get surgery when the season's over.
Right, and he was the first defenseman to score over 100 points and dominate from his position on both ends of the ice.
He was a one-man penalty kill. He would take the puck and just skate around the entire rink.
Right. So are you saying Gretzky is to Jordan that Pavel Datsyuk is to Kobe?
Yes. That's a great comparison. I think for this era, I look at and you know why I like Datsyuk? He's a little bit older there's a whole bunch of other guys that come in, and he's kind of has a little bit more of that old school because he'll still play a little physical, and a lot of guys don't do that.
We have a viewer watching saying that Damien just really likes Kobe beef. If Jordan's middle name was Cheeseburger, it would be a tougher call.
Kobe beef is very good.
So maybe you just have Kobe beef
stuck
in the back of your head. Oh, that's what you were thinking we were talking about?
I thought that's what we were talking about. No?
No wonder you're so confused.
Beautiful marbleized sirloin strip from Kobe beef.
I've never had Kobe beef before.
Talk to Alan Burke.
See, I'm not a big red meat fan.
If you have Kobe beef, you'd be a red meat fan.
I still, like, my family and I, we're going to be going out for a Christmas dinner, and we try to do it every year.
Oh, you don't do the stay-at-home thing?
Well, sometimes we do. For Christmas Eve, we're home, and Christmas Day, we're usually home.
Yeah.
And we'll go different places for whoever's house might be. But,
Yeah.
It's been quite a while now. We've always, even when it was just my parents, my sister, and I, we used to always try to go out a weekend before or 2 weekends before Christmas and go to like a quote-unquote fancy dinner, if you will.
Like Hojo's.
Yeah. So we try to go to someplace. Actually, one year we went to Anthony's Pier 4.
Okay, yeah.
And had a great meal. And I was probably
I believe my family
10
knows
or 12.
Anthony. But
Oh, really? I was fairly young, 10 or 12, something like
so
that.
You didn't appreciate it, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was good, whatever. It was the type of thing. But so we come out of the parking lot,
Yeah.
and we get to where the car was,
And
there's no car. And there was broken glass. And my dad was like, where the hell's the car? So we found out it had been stolen, and someone had taken it for a joyride, and it was found like wrapped around a telephone pole somewhere.
In Charlestown?
I don't know I forget where it was. It was somewhere in Boston.
Yeah.
But we get to ride home in Anthony's Jaguar. So that was the big thing. So we went home in his fancy Jaguar. But anyway, so
now, did he drive or he just
no, he had some
keys?
driver. No, he had a driver. So we're thinking about going to a place in Weymouth that's like a steakhouse,
Yeah.
and we always go, all right, well, there's going to be a steak, but what else is knowing that I'm not going to order steak? My dad doesn't eat red meat anymore for a variety of reasons, mostly because of health. I think if he'd love to have his steak, but now it's more health stuff. But I'm not going to order a red meat meal. So it's going to be fish or chicken for me type of thing. So we always got to plan that out. So we always try to find a place that everyone is happy with.
Don't go to a steakhouse.
But no, I know you can go to a steakhouse and still get a good piece of fish or a good, chicken dish.
You didn't go to a fish place.
Well, yeah,
No,
but then if like my sister doesn't eat seafood, so we're not going to go to a seafood place for her to order a steak.
Then
usually.
go to an Italian. Go to Davio's.
Well, yeah, we've done that before, but we're looking for different places. But
Grumpy
we also
White's
know.
Now, are you
that's
going
slightly a below fancy meal?
Now, whoa! Those things we can't take back.
I love Marymount, but I'm gonna go a little bit above that. So
okay, so here's a scenario for you, all right? And this is why we should be called Above the Rim instead of SportsNight.
I'll pull up the names that you mentioned to me. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, people can vote in. So okay, here we go. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah,
comparing places.
Now, you're going with your wife, I assume?
It's gonna be my parents.
Yep.
My wife, the two girls.
There we go.
My sister and her husband.
Okay. Now you know what the two problems are that you're bringing, right?
My parents, I know.
Yeah. So,
no, the girls will be okay.
No, they won't.
The girls, they do fairly well going out to dinner. Obviously, fairly well is not great, but they still, for a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, when we go out to eat, they do pretty well.
You know, at like a 3-star and above restaurant, they don't have the coloring books.
We bring coloring books.
And people will judge you if you ruin their meal.
They will, yes, but that's okay. Because
if I got a babysitter and I took my wife out to a steakhouse, right?
Yes, yep.
She's going to order the filet mignon, which she doesn't finish, so I'll get to have a little bit of that.
Okay, and you're going to order?
I like sirloin.
Okay.
Sirloin strip, okay? And if there was a kid crying, I would be very upset. Very upset. And I'd have a steak knife, John.
I'm going to come and get you.
I'll cut you.
I don't know. I think...
just like, I guess, I don't know. Like, whenever I take the kids on the plane, it's awful. That
We've never gone with them before.
A cheesy, scary movie that would definitely freak people out would be called Kids on a Plane, not Snakes on a Plane.
See, when you're on a plane, there's nothing you can do. You have to take the kid to wherever you're going. And the plane's the easiest way to get there, whether you're going to...
My kids are going to be in the no-fly list soon. like, they just, because they don't get it. Like, Talia wants to open doors. Like, you can't.
See, my 1-year-old Lily wants to shut all the doors. Yeah, so I think we'd be okay on an airplane. But she wants to push the doors, so maybe in the airplane we'd still be...
So the last time we took Talia, we were on the plane, Talia was just starting to walk.
Yeah.
You know, and so now, no, in Arizona to Boston is like an 8-hour flight.
You were going the slowest plane.
It's like 5 hours.
I was going to say, if you're on an 8-hour flight, you must be...
But still, tell like a toddler, okay, now sit still for 5 hours.
No, I know, it's definitely tough. But we're going to be going to a restaurant for an hour and a half, say, where we're going to have coloring books, we're going to have some toys or other different activities, things for them to do.
Yeah.
And...
Now, what time of the day would you go?
We're probably going to be going on a Tuesday evening. So we're looking at, say, 6:30.
That's pushing it, man.
So, see, for us, it's not that bad.
No, you're going to get the people that are coming there to dine.
Oh. But I still think for us, it'll be okay. They'll be at that zone where if we get there, they'll be hungry. We'll give them we'll bring food for them to eat so they can have some stuff.
And then they won't be hungry when the food gets there.
Well, no, it's okay because you trail them along a little bit. So they get a little bit of bread or they get something to drink. And then when the food gets there, they can have their meal that we either order for them or that we bring for them. And then we're lucky. I'm definitely going to knock on wood. There's nothing like that in here. But I'm going to knock on wood. Whenever we go out, they're usually they're quite good. I'm not going to say, again, they're not excellent, but they're a 3 and 1-year-old.
We need to go... We need to bring our families on dinner so they can be examples.
Well, see, now, if you put them in with 2 other girls their age, then I can't guarantee
anything.
Well,
it's not that mine are bad. It's just that oh, what's that, a lobster tank? I want to go see that. And this is where I want to be for the rest of the night now.
No, I understand that. That definitely is one of the tough things.
Why is there a piece of parsley next to my entree? That's gross. I don't want to eat anything anymore.
Well, they don't even know it's parsley. It's what's this green yucky stuff or whatever it might be. See, we always bring some sort of food for them so they're not eating just what we order at the restaurant. And at the restaurant, it's like, okay, do you want pasta? Okay, great. Can we get peas with that? No, you don't have peas. Okay, can we get some sort of other vegetable that we're trying to mix in for Louisa? For Lily, we'll probably just bring something, although she's starting to do better with eating stuff as well.
Yeah.
They both will eat chicken for usually, so that's good, or turkey.
Ribs, yeah.
That I don't know.
No.
See, we're trying to expose them to other different foods, but my wife and I, we don't eat a lot of red meat for stuff, so different things.
You know, by doing this, what you're saying, you're like taking away the entire Omaha fan base that are watching us, the Texas fan base, Argentina, as we know it.
I have no problem.
Has just signed off.
Yeah, I have no problem with people eating red meat. I have no problem. If you would like to, go for it. It's just I just don't like it. The only red meat I can do
is your head
hamburger.
Is it in your head that you think it's a health thing?
No, I just don't like it.
You just don't like
it. I've never been a huge fan of red meat.
Steak and cheese sub.
No.
But a hamburger you're cool with.
I can do hamburger. That's the only red meat I can do. It's like a hamburger chopped up like that. But
is it like the cutting into the flesh that gets to you?
Well, no, because part of it is if I have a steak, I want it completely cooked. I don't want to have any red in it because I just don't. I don't like the red. I don't like the chewing factor of that. I don't like seeing a piece of meat bleeding in front of me.
Oh.
Yeah, as far as I know, my sister would be like, "That's good to go," but I could have a piece of raw fish and I could eat that. So I know you could do the same.
Yeah.
But there's something about
the
last time I had steak. Yeah, and you don't like chicken.
Because it's disgusting. How do you know that's not a pigeon you're eating, huh?
How do you know what your is eating is a cow?
I don't care.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
They could come in and tell me it's a zebra.
The last time I had steak, I got sick, and I did just. Because I hadn't had steak for such a long time.
It's a mental thing, yeah.
Well, no, I had it, and my body was just like, oh my god, this is terrible. You shouldn't have eaten this.
No, that was called being satisfied. That's called being satiated,
it was not.
John.
It was definitely not that. So I'm not a fan of that. So be it. I'm happy to not eat steak. That's fine by me.
Now, how much seafood do you eat? We totally got
Yeah, I know.
What?
Whatever. Speaking of that, we'll come back to seafood in a
Okay,
second
yeah.
here.
We'll have people vote in.
All right, so Damien mentioned to me on the par with ...
Yeah.
On the ropes, the wheelhouse, which is the one that I did like, the wheelhouse, and eye on the ball. The wheelhouse was my favorite.
I like the wheelhouse.
Although I don't know if we would get into copyright infringement and we'd have to license it from the Wheelhouse Diner in Quincy or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's were you
They
at
can
the
have
Wheelhouse?
We can have a partnership with them.
Anyway, I don't eat a ton of seafood. Most of the seafood I eat right now is sushi.
Sushi-based seafood. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I do like salmon cooked
Yeah.
up.
Do you like to do
tuna?
Do you know that now salmon is genetically modified and it doesn't have to be labeled as such?
Depending on what you get, where the salmon's from, right? Not all salmon's GMO.
No.
Or not GMO, but
well, no. It's like they haven't made a GMO salmon, but now there is one, and they cross two types of salmon and a third mystery fish. I don't know what that mystery fish is, but
I guess I would like to know that if it's been genetically modified, let me know, and then I'll choose to eat it.
Now, how often a day do you eat meat?
If I have usually for my salad I'll either put some like tuna fish in the salad, or I'll put some like turkey on it, or for leftover chicken or deli meat turkey, something like that.
Yeah.
And then depending at night, it might be 50-50. So probably once a day I have some sort of little bit of meat. Because in my salad, I like to have a little bit of something in there.
Yeah.
Again, whether it's tuna packets I put in or some leftover turkey, chicken, something like that.
Yeah.
I had a turkey and ham sandwich today.
A combo.
What's that? A combo, yeah. And I had some cheese, a little bit of cheese in that as well.
What kind of cheese?
I'm trying to think what cheese now. Pepper jack cheese.
Good choice.
And a little bit of mustard.
Yeah.
So
mustard's an underrated condiment.
It is. I enjoy mustard on my sandwich. I'm not a huge ham fan either. I don't eat ham very often.
I'm not a big ham guy.
Like on Christmas dinner, everyone has ham. I will just go like a little bit of ham.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, where's the lasagna that we should be eating?
I used to love it when I was a kid. And my mom used to usually do ham for Christmas.
Yeah.
Now she's been usually doing she gets like a prime rib roast.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. You would hate it.
Yeah.
I get everybody, starts working the end, and then I get the middle.
Where it's the most raw.
I take off the cow fur, and I just go at it.
Yeah, see, if I would have that, I would want to make sure it's the end where it's all cooked and there's no pink or anything like that. That's just, I can't get into that.
What about if I cubed up little steaks and marinated them and grilled them? You wouldn't eat that.
Is there red in it?
No.
I would probably try some, yes. But I don't know how much I would have. It wouldn't be a full meal. I wouldn't want that for a full meal. But I could probably have a little bit here and there. And if we go to a wedding and my wife wants to get a steak, I might have a little bit if it's cooked real through. Yeah. But normally, she won't get a steak at a wedding because you just never know how it's going to be cooked. Last wedding we went to, she got the steak. And actually, no, we both got. I got a fish, and I think she got the vegetarian meal. We split it 50-50 each of us, and we were glad we didn't get the steak because everyone said the steak was like barely cooked, and no one liked it. Yeah, no one at our table liked it, and that Teresa would not have eaten that.
Last wedding we went to, I got the steak à poivre, which means steak with pepper in French.
So you had a steak and pepper sub, is basically you had at the wedding.
A steak and pepper. It was just a peppered steak, but it was good. I think it was like its name was like Al. It was like grown, and it was in Vermont. Oh,
that's where you had the Vermont wedding. That was a while ago. Huh?
It was a while ago.
Now, where was that? Was it
Stowe?
Oh, it was in Stowe. Okay, I like Stowe. I like Vermont.
Stowe was nice. I didn't know it was that small. Like
it's a small town.
I'm like, hey, let's go check out Stowe, and there it is.
I think we've talked about this before, but Vermont is my second favorite New England state, behind Massachusetts, just because I'm here.
I like Maine. I like coast. I like to see the crashing surf against the rocks.
Maine would be a close number 3 for me.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 I'm kind of indifferent on. I think New Hampshire might actually be 6th. I'm not a big New Hampshire fan.
Yeah. New Hampshire.
Not that I spend a lot of time in Connecticut or Rhode Island either. But
Connecticut I don't consider part of New England anymore.
Well, it's like half of it is.
You're tri-state. You can't be in two things.
Well,
you can't be tri-state and New England.
Again, and maybe because I go in there, visit, and I come back home. That's why it's so nice.
It's like it's our backyard, basically.
Right, and I don't know. There's something about it. You know what I like when I go to Vermont and Maine is when you're driving around different places and they have all those little signs on the road, so you can say, "Oh wow, they're coming up." Or there's a maple syrup farm coming up a mile on the road, or I can turn right here and I know where to go.
Yeah.
Now I know in Massachusetts most of the roads are a lot more busier and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I like those little signs that you can see what's going on and what's coming up. You know, oh, here's Ben and Jerry's a mile up on the road, or here's the cheese factory.
They can do that because that's all that's there.
Fair enough. I know there's a lot more, but that's just something I like, and again, it wouldn't translate here. Maybe Massachusetts. I don't know, but. All right, we only have a couple minutes left. We've spent the last 15 minutes talking about completely random stuff.
Who's going to win the presidency?
The presidency? Oh, I was going to say we should talk about football, but
David Stearns is going to come in the last minute now that he retired. He will become president.
I might be moving somewhere if David Stearns becomes president.
The Senate will now become a draft.
Yeah.
A rigged draft.
A rotating draft. The Patriots lost 2 in a row.
Thank you, Seth McLaughlin, for jinxing us.
Scott Massey, I don't know if he's watching now or if he's going to watch later on. Scott Massey was the one that called him out on that and said, "You're going to jinx us, Seth." And Seth said, "Blah, whatever." We should actually wish Seth happy anniversary. Him and his wife Nancy, 12 years today.
Yeah.
12-year anniversary. Congratulations, Seth and Nancy, on your anniversary. But you did jinx us, so we have to blame you here on SportsNight.
And they got out-coached by the Eagles. Chip Kelly out-coached Bill Belichick.
Okay, it's 14-0, and they do the rugby drop kick onside kick.
Why?
I agree.
Why?
I walked away from the TV for a little bit, and I came back, and I said, "Oh, wow, they scored a touchdown." And I was like, "Oh, wait, there was a drop kick for an onside kick?" I was bamboozled about that. The block punts happen. I mean, obviously they don't happen often, but that's something you gotta give the Eagles credit for. Maybe they saw something on tape that there was a weak spot or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they blocked it. But I think the biggest thing was that momentum swung right there when.
Yep.
Well,
the Eagles said it. They said they insulted us. They flat out insulted us.
Kick it deep. They had struggled. Kick it deep. Pin them back. If they start on their 20 and then it's like, oh, well, here we go again. We're on a 20. Maybe we can get something going here. And chances are they probably don't. And then we take over on a punt or whatever it might be.
And now we have to go to Houston on a team that's trying to come alive.
I was like, yeah, that's going to be a tough game. The defense is the biggest thing for Houston. I mean, the offense obviously is decent.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the league, but that's an awesome defense.
J.J. Watt, Clowney, and Vince Wilfork.
It's a good defense. I'm worried about this game a little bit.
I'm worried about this game, too. I could see us beating the Eagles but losing to Houston. But
yeah, that would have been more realistic.
Especially us not having Edelman and Gronkowski and Hightower. All
right, so right now we're in the 3rd seed in the AFC. Cincinnati's 1, Denver's 2, we're 3. We're going to be 1, 2, or 3s because the rest of the league the rest of the conference is so bad.
Cincinnati's second?
Cincinnati's number 1. They have the tiebreaker over. I'm pretty sure I saw that correctly when I looked it up the other day.
I thought the Broncos would be. I thought Cincinnati lost 2 games.
But all of them are 10-2.
But Cincinnati, that'll be weird. All right.
All 3 teams are 10-2. I'm pulling up the standings.
Oh, see, that's what you get for doing a stupid rugby.
Yeah, I just
a rugby player.
I didn't like that call at all. I thought that was a bad call, and then Brady said he didn't play well. He made some bad decisions.
Well, I mean, he was rushed a lot. He had to go out for a pass at one point.
Yeah, Cincinnati's 1, Denver 2, New England 3. Indianapolis is the 4 seed right now. It's 6 and 6.
Crazy.
Kansas City 7-5, and then the Jets at 7-5.
See, now I'm hoping that Kansas City can beat the Broncos. We need to win out, obviously, and Cincinnati kind of mess up as they always will, just for us to get at least the number 2 seed.
Yeah, we need we need that bye, I think, especially for.
We can't go to Denver and win. We can't. It's actually never been done in history.
If Gronk's healthy and Edelman's healthy and Amendola's healthy, can we go to Denver and win?
No, because the officials are intimidated by that fan base. I think that's why I saw the officiating this year, and as a professional, referee,
yes.
I can say this. They're starting to be very NBA-ish.
Ooh.
the makeup calls.
Those are fighting words right there.
Yeah, makeup calls. Hire me, NFL. I'm much better than I take the $117,000 salary. And it's like that Denver game just seemed like it seemed like a home crowd. The home crowd was dictating the calls.
What was your thought on the Aaron Rodgers face mask call?
On the field, I can get that. I get it.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm very. But see, the other thing too is like they're supposed to work as a crew, and they have more guys on a high school game, and there's a lot of eyes on a quarterback.
But there was 2 guys that threw the flag for the Rodgers call. It was the referee, and then I know I saw 2 flags on the field.
And it was probably the umpire. And now the problem is that the referee and the umpire is in every other division, the umpire is where the linebackers are, and they move their way to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And he's watching. He can see from that side if there was a face mask. When they're both behind the quarterback, and you have these giant offensive linemen. No one can see what's going on.
Right.
But it's also because it's the NFL. I can't see how the umpire and the referee even see anything. They're like 30 yards behind the quarterback. Like it baffles me. I don't know what they can see.
I don't know. I just don't know from the refereeing or officiating standpoint. That's just.
It's like the wing guys are the wing guys. Football fields are as wide as they are, and I can see a lot when I do the wings. Okay, but being 30 yards back with the bodies moving in front of you, I don't know what you can see.
I guess I didn't have a problem with that call because obviously his thumb got in there for or pinky, whatever it was, for a split second, but it slightly turned his head. And then his head completely turned around.
I thought it never actually touched. I thought as he was doing that, he moved his head with the hand.
I'm pretty sure that I forget which finger it was, slightly got in the mask for a short second.
Then it is a face mask.
It was just barely got in there. But even if it wasn't, and his hand like hit the face mask a little bit or whatever it was, but the head jerked back. And it's just a classic sign that's what you're looking for almost for a call. And obviously it wasn't as blatant as some other calls where they're grasping it and then pulling down.
Well, you know what? The face mask, they used to be 2 different face mask penalties. It was the intentional and unintentional one. And that would have been like a 5-yarder if they kept it. Now it's just that one penalty for it.
But even if it was a 5-yard, it still would have been another play.
Another play, yeah.
But that whole thing they took away because it was a little bit judgment
back to throw.
I know. But that was the whole judgment call, whether it's a 5 or a 15 and what to do and what not. I don't. I guess that play it didn't bother me that bad that it was called like that. That it was called a face mask. I don't know.
A lot of the plays that are just bugging me are like. I still don't know what is a catch in the NFL.
No, that's.
Yeah, and pass interference, especially offensive pass interference, is starting to get a little ridiculous. Pass interference in general is good. There was the Ravens game. I forgot what team they were playing. The cornerback covering the Ravens receiver slipped and fell, and the Ravens receiver got an offensive pass interference. The cornerback pushed the dude, slipped and fell as he turned. There was a defensive pass interference, but the flags came out and it was on the offense and it took away a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, what are you seeing? Like you have instant replay. What are you doing?
Well, like against the Broncos, the Gronk pass interference. Yeah. There's 2 of them. One of them was much worse than the other. One of them was like, maybe I could see a little bit. The second one was, he it might have looked like he pushed off, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran up the field and then he went, and they're like, oh well, he got his arm extended out, and it's like, not really. I mean,
What I'm worried about is that defensive backs or offensive players are going to start to dive. And if that's what the game becomes now, then that's going to stink.
Right.
That's why make it physical. Make it be like in high school. It's basically like they bump the whole way down the field.
Right.
If it was the pros, it would be pass interference every
play. Right.
Every play. But it's basically, did you bump a guy so much that you changed his path?
Right.
And that's what it should be in the NFL. Come on, you're It's the NFL. It's football.
Well, they
wear
want-
a helmet.
They want so
Come
much
on.
more offense. That's why.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
exactly.
You know, and even in the 10 years, I mean, the Colts complaining about the Patriots doing the different things, and you know that initiated rule changes, and because the defensive backs were too physical. You know.
Well,
and-
be physical back. What can I tell you?
well, I don't know.
All right.
So we'll see what happens. All right, I think we should wrap it up here. We're already a little bit over, but no big deal. All right, we want to thank those that were watching the stream at home. We obviously had some issues beginning with no audio for a while, but thanks for those who are sticking with us. We do get one more thing in real quick. Martin Dunham wants to know, what about the controversy brewing in curling? And I was
the
brooms.
The performance enhancing brooms.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yes, it was quite an interesting controversy I was reading about the other day.
Balco brooms, they're called.
Yes, I couldn't remember the name of it, but yeah, Balco brooms. Is it Man Barry behind everything as well?
You have the clear and the cream.
Yeah, it was quite a little funny thing. If you're interested, go online, look about the curling broom controversy, and basically they're comparing it to like the swimsuits that the Olympic swimmers used to wear. I forget what they were calling the swimsuits back then, but they were shaving off times, they're making them more
If you ain't
aerodynamic
cheating,
and
you
whatever.
ain't trying.
And there's a big thing about, you know, some people saying yes, these should be okay, and some saying no, they're not, shouldn't be okay, and they're hoping the International Curling Federation is going to jump in and make a decision or whatever it might be. But who knows? I do love. I wish it was on. All right, I got to continue more about this because I was just thinking about, speaking of curling, I was turned to the C-SPAN the other day.
Yeah.
And the Canadian House was on. Instead of the United States House of Representatives, it was the Canadian House of Representatives.
No, did they have like a curling?
No, if they had a curling
like
sheet,
how
it
we
would
did
have
with
been awesome.
baseball.
The Canadian House was so much more interesting than the U.S. House.
Were they drunk?
But it was, they have like, I think it's like three parties essentially in Canada. So it was the Conservatives, the Liberals, and I forget what the third party was.
The Lumberjacks.
Essentially, yeah, it was kind of like the in between. But so they were all on one side of the room or the other, and the Speaker of the House would say, you know, the honorable representative from Alberta would get up and speak, and they would say, I want to know why the Minister of Agriculture is not letting this bill go through, and the cows and or something or other. And then the Minister of Agriculture would get up and speak for 30 seconds and say, this is what's going on, and everyone would applaud. And then, you know, the next side would get up and say, the Liberal side would say, well, I want to know what's going on from this, and then the Conservative would have a rebuttal. It was just so much more interesting. I was watching for like a half an hour during
all
lunch.
in cahoots with each other. Interesting.
It was so much more interesting than watching C-SPAN for the U.S. House.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they had the Canadian House on, but it would be so much more interesting to watch that.
Now, is there a penalty box if a guy steps out of line?
Yes, there was a high stick call at one point during the debate. But yeah, it was so much more interesting, and it was just so random. Like I was just flipping through, and then every once in a while I'll go to C-SPAN, and the Canadian House of Representatives was on, and it was.
I need to catch that now.
It was much more interesting, and I don't know why it was on. I don't know if the House was in recess or what was happening. I don't know, but it was quite interesting. And again, it was just like, you know, the Conservative Party, which just got ousted in the election up there recently. The Conservative Party would get up and say, you know, well, I want to know again what was going on with this, and then the Prime Minister or the Minister of Agriculture or whatever it would be would get up and talk. And they were, it'd say like, you know, Minister of Defense, and it would say Liberal Party underneath his name.
Yeah.
And it would talk about, you know, why we're doing different things, and we're going to defeat ISIS, and we're going to be joining in with our partners of the United States.
We're going to drown them in maple syrup.
Yeah. It was kind of like, you know, watching the British House almost.
Yeah.
It wasn't as ruckus as the British House.
Well, they get to wear costumes in the British at the House of Burges and
but I know I was amazed. I was like, for the half an hour I was eating lunch, I was like, this is so awesome. And then two of my coworkers come in, like, what are you watching? I was like, it's the Canadian House of Representatives, and they started watching it. It was very interesting.
So they talk about the state of affairs of the hockey puck industry. We need more rubber trees from this
Well, they were talking about-
agriculture minister.
They were talking about the curling brooms, actually. So, so anyway, so it was quite interesting. I was glad I got to peek in and watch that.
Good old Canada.
So
I might come there soon.
yeah, why not, right?
Depends who wins.
Yeah, we're gonna have another debate another time. All the other different things that are happening in politics here in this country, for whatever it might be. I know for those watching QATV, Don Cusser, he does the big politics show here on QATV, but I don't know if I can compete with him. But anywho,
we should be special guests.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
All right, so we want to thank again all of you watching the live stream, all of you watching the replay on QATV Channel 8, or watching online, or however you're watching us. QATV SportsNight at yahoo.com email address. You can find us on Facebook. Who knows? Maybe at some point we'll have a name change. Maybe we won't. We'll see what happens. But I do want to thank you for all watching Sports Night. I'm not sure when the next show is going to be. Hopefully we'll get one in before Christmas. We'll see how things go. It might be kind of tough.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Christmas Eve will come and do it.
Yeah, that sounds like an ideal time for us. So, all right. Well, anyway, we want to thank Mike Long for calling in early to talk about the Red Sox and their new acquisitions. And thank, again, you all for watching at home. So for Damian Ritchie, my name is Jonathan Clary. We'll see you next time on Sports Night.